Hello GW and welcome to this week's Top Headlines. I'm Willow Hasson. This week's news has been dominated by the second impeachment trial of former President Donald J. Trump. The week-long trial opened with a defense from Trump's lawyers that was widely regarded as messy and rambling in its attempt to prove that the Senate lacks jurisdiction to try a former president now out of office. For the prosecution, impeachment managers revealed never-before-seen graphic footage from the riots of January 6th that included clips of Vice President Mike Pence and senators being rushed to safety to escape the violent mob. Impeachment managers Representative Jamie Raskin and House Delegate Stacey Plaskett emphasized Trump as the inciter-in-chief of the insurrection and cited actions by Trump from the past that allegedly encouraged violence within his base. The defense then followed with an argument that Trump's conduct was protected by the First Amendment and that it came nowhere near the legal definition for incitement. Trump's team presented a montage of Democrats urging supporters to fight to counter the prosecution's riot video and casted Democrats, including Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as encouraging violence during the Black Lives Matter protests of the summer. After final remarks, a consideration of bringing in witnesses, the Senate voted 57-43 on Saturday to acquit former President Trump of inciting the insurrection. This fell short of the 67 votes needed for conviction. Overall, the impeachment managers were attempting to convince not just the Senate, but the American public that former President Trump should not be able to hold office into the future and that his political influence should end. Although the Senate has made its decision, time will tell how the public sees and history remembers the legacy of Donald Trump. The Biden administration is continuing to make COVID vaccine distribution a top priority. Reporter Rohit Ramesh has more.
Thank you, Willow. There has been big news on the fight against coronavirus this week. The CDC announced a new guideline recommending wearing 2 masks to help curb the COVID-19 pandemic. Recent studies show that wearing 2 masks reduces the spread and exposure to the virus. Double masking has also been shown to be more effective against the new coronavirus variants, both of which have been confirmed to be found in the United States. On Thursday, the Biden administration announced that they had purchased more COVID-19 vaccines. During a speech at the National Institute of Health, President Biden specified that the federal government had purchased 100 million more doses from Pfizer and German company BioNTech, as well as 100 million more doses from Moderna. The new purchases will not have an immediate effect, but are expected to start coming in by the end of May. They primarily serve to prevent a shortfall later in the year by increasing the supply by 50%, bringing the total to 600 million doses, enough to vaccinate all Americans. Now back to you, Willow.
Thanks, Rohit. Saudi Arabia released women's rights activist Loujain al-Hadloul after she was imprisoned for more than 1,000 days. Hadloul was arrested in 2018 along with other activists fighting for the right for women to drive. Her imprisonment was condemned by the UN and other human rights organizations. Her release comes days after the Biden administration called on Saudi Arabia to release political prisoners. Biden has vowed to pressure Saudi Arabia on human rights. The past week, the world has been watching after the International Criminal Court announced the verdict that they have the necessary territorial jurisdiction to pursue an investigation into allegations of Israeli war crimes in Palestinian territories going back to 2014. This comes after Fatou Bensouda, the ICC's chief prosecutor, concluded after an in-depth preliminary investigation that the qualifications for further examination are valid according to the ICC's founding treaty known as the Rome Statute. The United States and Israel are not members of the ICC and are both opposed to the investigation. Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has accused the court of, quote, pure anti-Semitism. Palestine is a member state of the ICC, which is how the court is able to investigate these crimes despite Israel not being a member. According to the State Department, the Biden administration has, quote, serious concerns about the ICC's attempt to exercise its jurisdiction over Israeli personnel. That's all for this week. We'll see you next time.